Welcome back. This is part 3 of our conversation with Juve Hernandez. Now we're going to shift into a mix of life experience and practical business thinking, adapting to a new place, what entrepreneurs tend to share no matter where they're from, and how to educate prospects in a way that actually helps them buy the right thing. All right, let's get into it.
Well, Juve, I want to understand what it is like to live in Utah, coming from warm places in Mexico, right? Some of the coldest times I've ever had in my life is in Mexico because where I lived, there's no heat, right? So, but I was freezing. But at the same time, I mean, Utah, this morning I woke up and it was 30 degrees. It was brutal. What was that like adapting to that?
Well, I remember the first time I saw the snow, and it was dumping big time, and I was like, "Wow, this is amazing." Days later, when that snow froze and got the weather colder, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I never had a problem being cold because, well, we have heaters here, but it definitely changed my perspective on being cold. Right?
Yeah.
Because I would go out and the cold weather would be like, oh my gosh, this is extreme. So I was very, very, very well covered. I grew up by the ocean, Cabo San Lucas and Acapulco. I used to surf a lot. And then coming here, obviously there's no surfing. And I know that snowboarding is amazing and all that, or skiing, but I never got into it.
Yeah.
Because I missed, and I still do, the feeling of being inside the ocean. Once you're inside the ocean, you just forget about everything. It has that, the ocean has that capability of making you forget about your problems. Yeah. And that's probably why a lot of people go to the ocean, because it's such a force of nature. Of course, it is the ocean.
Yeah.
But I never got into snowboarding or skiing. I went once. I fell so many times that I was like, I am done, because I fell on my butt so many times that it was hurting. And that was the only time. Nothing wrong with it. It's just not my thing. I am into hiking and I love that. I love the mountains. I was talking to my niece yesterday that, when we were coming to my house, and, we were coming to our house and I could see the mountain, and we're like 1 mile away from the mountain, and it was in the afternoon, sunset, beautiful, high mountains that we could see with some rosy colors on top of it. I was like, that is just beautiful. Why am I saying this? Because I learned to love the mountains as much as I love the ocean. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And 27 years ago, yes, it was a cultural shock. I was already aware. This is funny. I was already aware of the culture and whatnot. But coming from a party town, which is Cabo San Lucas, to a more serious, business-like, everyday kind of life, was like, I was like, hey, let's party, let's do this, let's do that. And people were here like, oh no, I gotta go to work, bro.
Yeah.
You know, I got to do this. And it's not like, it wasn't like they were on vacation. And that was my impression of tourists, American tourists, when they were down there, because they were all happy. But when I came here, I realized that it wasn't like that all the time, right?
Yeah.
It was more serious, more real life, back to reality, I would say, right? So, and there's nothing wrong with that, because that's the way it is, and that's the way it should be, in my opinion. But yeah, so that was my experience.
Yeah, that culture shock. I mean, I've moved to 2 different countries in my life. I've lived in Mexico and I've lived in Australia.
Nice.
Mexico, living in Toluca, base of Nevado, right, which is one of the highest mountains in Mexico. Crazy tall mountain, very cold, but beautiful, and the food is amazing. But the culture shock is intense. You got to get used to different ways of doing anything, right? You've got, rather than, kids playing football or, they're in the streets, or basketball, they're playing soccer in the streets, right? Or
correct. Yeah, I used to be one of those kids. Yeah,
I love it. Or moving to Australia, and that one, kids are playing footy, Australian football, and you're just like, what is going on? This looks like a Quidditch field. It doesn't look like an actual sport. But I think the culture shock really, in moving and learning and those types of things, turn you into a beautiful human, because you will start to learn that you're actually smaller than you really are, and you can work to help those around you.
Question for you.
Talk to me.
What have you noticed about entrepreneurs? Because I know that you travel a lot with Boostability, different events, different places, different cities, different countries, right?
Of course.
What are your thoughts on entrepreneurships, or what have you noticed about entrepreneurs in different parts of the world or the country, if that makes sense?
I believe that entrepreneurs all come from the same spirit or vibe of finding ways to invent themselves and grow, and they've got this excitement, this energy of, how do I do this or that? There's a level of curiosity that often happens when life, you get 18 and you got to get a real job, and everybody's serious and they're styrofoam walking around. Entrepreneurs are those people that are trying to find ways to do stuff differently and invent themselves or learn about something new. Often they're very excited about the shiny new object. They're very, very energetic, crazy, do the most randomest things, but they're there to help the people around them. They're not kind of stuck with the ways that it should be. And I found that in all of these countries that I've been to, it's all of the same. They have the same energy, the same excitement. It's the only thing that changes is the language or the culture. I feel like entrepreneurs are finding ways to reinvent themselves, learn more, and help others. Now, I believe that there's people who call themselves entrepreneurs, and they're not. Those are the ones that sometimes I have a hard time with, because they're a true entrepreneur is willing to share and make the people around them better. I believe entrepreneurship should be, a rising tide lifts all boats. And there's communities of people who get together and share what they're doing and try and learn from each other and have creative ideas and grow together. I think some people who hit a certain level get greedy, and they still call themselves entrepreneurs, but they're not making the people around them better or giving chances to other people. So that word to me can be a little bit complex, because entrepreneurship to me is allowing others to grow with you.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with you. We are in the age, and we've been in the age of information, education of our prospects, right? And it's been going on for a long time. For a long, long time. Would you agree that an educated prospect is better than an uneducated one on your subject, on your company or services?
Ooh, this is a beast. Juve, that is a hard one. And I'll explain why. Shiny new objects sometimes aren't the right move. So, for example, SEO, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say there's somebody who watched a podcast or was on YouTube and somebody was talking about SEO, and they're like, man, I just became educated. That means this exactly is perfect for me. I need to do that. But that might not be the perfect solution for that individual website. for the community that they're located in compared to the competitors that they've got. So sometimes that education that they received actually doesn't help them with what that website needs. So some of the times we'll run into people who are educated in a process, but it might not help them. Those are some of the hardest customers and people to have, because that education keeps on moving to the next shiny object. They forget about the core fundamentals of search engine optimization, which I believe search engines are anywhere where you can type in a box and get a result. The basics are there of organizing whatever website or whether or not it's YouTube or anywhere else. You organize it for whoever's consuming it, whether or not it's human or bot, to understand it, and then getting references back to it. That is the basic, that is the core. But often when these new things come out, the core gets forgotten about, and they're only doing that one thing, and then the basics gets lost. So an educated person, in the sense of, I need to understand that these fundamentals are here, that is huge and perfect. It's just when the other things come into play and you forget about those fundamentals or those core principles, that's when you can run into a lot of issues.
Yeah, I agree with you. And what do you think about educating your prospects on your products and services specifically?
Yeah.
How does that work for you guys when a customer already knows what packages you use, what technologies you're using, what is your methodology of operating, and they're just like, they show up to a sales call and knowing all that information, and they're pretty much sold on your products and services.
Those are the easiest sales for us, but we still need to make sure that we set the foundation. Hey, this is what we're going to do and why. And we're going to keep them updated while we're in the middle of the process so that they know what they're receiving and why they're receiving it. In today's world, you can't just say, this is it. There's not just one water bottle available, right? You've got like 30 or 40 different options with everything. You need to understand the why behind everything. And that's part of the reasons why we sell and how we sell is, okay, this is what your website is happening on your website. This is what your competitors are doing. And this is why we need to do this task. Then when we do the task, we show the benefit of it. You need to do that every time.
Why does everyone or every website need SEO?
I think of SEO as optimization. It is creating the best opportunity for your website to go through the race of getting found on Google or whatever search engine that you've got. So if everybody's in a race, you need to make sure that your website is optimized for the best opportunity in that race. So
now, does traffic, which is what SEO creates, right, being found, does traffic always equal to sales?
No. I mean, Juve, if you were to tell your customers that are in Mexico, I can get you 10,000 visits tomorrow, but none of them convert, they're going to be like, Juve, that's stupid, right? Yeah, they'll be like, no. Don't be a donkey. Right? But if you said, you know what, if I got you 10 customers, 10 people who are actually searching for the services that you provide that yield a form fill, or somebody coming to your clinic, they're going to say yes. Traffic is a beast. Yes, we're trying to receive traffic. I'm not saying that we're not. But we're trying to find the qualified traffic that converts in whatever your service that you provide, right? So it is important to make sure that you state, this is
correct,
that we're trying to get you the best traffic for the services that you provide.
Nice. That's exactly what I was thinking, because, yeah, like you said, traffic doesn't really necessarily mean sales. If your website is not designed to create sales, just be informational, then, I mean, yeah, go ahead, inform people. But I think that a website should be getting you customers and in combination with SEO and on-site techniques that you and I know about, that traffic can translate into sales too.
Which is what everybody's searching for and what everybody's trying to do. It's a beautiful thing, and if we can help anybody in this world now get it to where they're converting and they're achieving what they want to do, and the whole reason why they have a website or have a business, that is what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So
I have a question. Maybe if you want to, you can edit it out or not. But
no, we don't edit out. What's the question?
With the tools that I have inside my platform that I white label from GHL that are related to SEO, right? For any other person that is with GHL, how different or what advantage does Boostability have over those tools that we have available?
Of course. I love speaking through experience and experiences that I've got. When I was 18, I was trying to be an electrician in Colorado. So Castle Rock, Colorado, a little bit south, Larkspur down to Monument. And I remember I got my tools at a tool belt. I was so excited to have it. And I spent all of my money buying the most recent tools that I ever had. These tools were so shiny and beautiful. And I remember I was an apprentice to a journeyman named Dominic. Dominic had tools that weren't shiny. They weren't brand new. But Dominic could outwork me. I would take probably, 4 or 5 hours to do 3 rooms. He would have set up the panel. He would have run all of the home runs. He would have also done all of the crazy things and cut up in the boxes and got everything perfect by the time that I'd have a couple of rooms done. That is the experience of having tools, but you know how to use them. You have the experience of when this happens, I do that. Now, Go High Level is an amazing, amazing product. But if you're providing a variety of services, not just SEO, those tools are just exactly what they are. They're shiny objects that can help us get the job done. And it might take a lot longer for us to complete that work, where if you've got somebody that's experienced, they know exactly what to look at, what to look for, what your competitors are doing. That is where a company like Boostability will create the best opportunities for you and your customers.
I love it. That's awesome metaphor for what Boostability is. Yeah.
That's the way that I like to sell and teach is around metaphors, because you know what? It is true. There's a lot of amazing tools out there, but if you don't know how to use them efficiently, accurately, and with production in mind, you're not going to be able to achieve what you want, which is ultimately what we're trying to do. I love it. Well, Juve, I want to say thank you so much for joining this podcast. It has been absolutely beautiful. I love your energy. Thanks for letting me help you spit up some coffee with a little joke. And that
was amazing. Thank you very much for that.
Absolutely. So
I haven't laughed that hard in a long time. Thank you.
That's good. Well, thank you so much for joining Behind the Booth.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for inviting me. And I can be back anytime if you want me to.
Absolutely.